everyone, it's Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life, and I am here to do my September layout share for you. I have, I think, about 7 layouts to share with you. And this is kind of split into 2 because I did more layouts for the Crafty Maven getaway crop, but I did a separate video for that. So go ahead and look back because that will be there for you to see as well. And there's an additional 7 layouts, I think. So this layout was done for the very first episode of Sketch It with Christy and Rachel. And Rachel Reynolds and I are taking on sketches twice a month and recreating it and then seeing what we come up with. And it's really fun, and I am excited about this collaboration. I really enjoy Rachel's layout. She's very talented and such a sweet girl. She's not a girl, she's a woman, but a sweet gal, and I am having a lot of fun doing these with her. So this one is some photos taken when I went on a road trip with my sister back in 2008, and we never lived together. My sister and I, we are half sisters, so we have the same dad and different moms, and she lived with her mom and I lived with my parents, and so we didn't actually grow up together or anything like that. So we found it very funny that yet even though we didn't grow up together, we kept dressing the same. And it was just really funny. Like, we were on a 2.5-week road trip, and I can tell you at least 10 of those days we tried to wear the same thing. We kind of started laughing at each other, and one of us would change because we're like, this is crazy. But it was hilarious, and we didn't do it on purpose, and it just was funny. So I'm titling this Must Be a Sister Thing, and there is going to be a side little tiny piece to have all the journaling about how funny this is. So it was a fun layout to do, and it was the first one for that series. And then I did this layout about Jackson's soccer hat that my mom made him, and I kind of did it about how lucky he is that he's gonna have sports in his blood. Like, Sean is a huge soccer fan, so Jackson will we're gonna let him start playing it as soon as he's old enough to, and if he decides he doesn't want to, we will not push him. I would never ever push my child into playing something if he really didn't like it, but I have a feeling because Daddy loves it so much, Jackson's gonna love it too. So it was a very fun layout to create, and I did some journaling, and it's soccer themed. This is actually themed paper, and that's not something I normally do, so that was really fun, and the whole layout was just a lot of fun to make. So there's a process video for this one, so you can check that out if you'd like to. I made this layout really fast one day. It's to document my love of the autumn season, and I had taken this photo of my autumn wreath, and I just really loved the way it turned out. So basically, I wanted a glorified photo album for this layout. I say this a lot, but I think I have something to do with how much I love the season in every single one of my albums. I just am a big fan of autumn, and I love to document that. So I was trying to use up some supplies on this one, and I was able to use up some of these stickers, and I used up some chipboard and some wood veneer and some frames, and it's cute. So very simple, nothing whatever, but it's done and it's cute, and I used some fall themed product. I did this layout based off of a Pinterest inspiration I found, and my goal this month was to use 10, like scrap lift 10 layouts basically from Pinterest. That did not happen, and so once it does happen though, I will have a separate video and explaining what came from what. But this layout is just talking about how when my grandpa was at the end of his life, my little guy kind of helped brighten the mood a little bit, and that's what it's talking about. So I just simply titled this Light in the Storm because he was the light in the storm. And then there's hidden journaling to talk about it. Again, not because it's hidden because I don't want people to read it. anyone's absolutely welcome to read it. But I don't want someone who's flipping through my album, if they don't need to get that serious or that in depth, they can just move on and they don't have to stop to read it. Because if they are anything like me, if I see writing, I read it. I just can't help it. So I think this kind of helps balance that out there. So I did some stitching and I really love the way that turned out. And I used a little deer and I used some sequins, and I like this layout a lot. It's a simple one, but it's very well stated and it's a very important story. Here is my first layout for this month's Lifted. We did 2 Lifted episodes this month, and we will every month now. We have gone bi-weekly, so the 2nd and 4th Thursdays of the month, Jen and I are doing this. I didn't have a title on this when I did the layout to begin with, and I have now entitled it Enthralled. This is just talking about how my son can sit in front of our washer and literally just watch the laundry being washed and be completely okay with it, and we'll sit there for half an hour and watch it. So my this was the one that we lifted from each other, so I found a layout that I really liked that Jen had done, and I took the inspiration from that and made my own with it. So I'm noticing these letters are not sticking. I'm gonna have to figure out how to make sure that sticks so it doesn't fall out into my album. But I really like this layout. It's cute and deconstructed and it's very fun. So there's that one. My one and only refresh video I got done this month. I was so focused on everything else, I didn't get much done with my refresh series, but that's okay because that one's kind of just as I get to it, and I will eventually run out because I only have so many that are older and I don't like. So this one is just talking about going parasailing when I was 16. It was my birthday present. It was really fun and scary and I loved it. I am quite the thrill seeker, or at least I used to be. And so it just kind of documents that. And look how young, and look, my face was so skinny back then. Don't you love looking at photos of yourself when you were a teenager and just how different you are? I know I still look quite a lot the same, but I'm not that skinny. And I do have some hidden journaling tucked away in there as well. So there is that. The next one is about my son, and just because he's happy. So it's just how he was walking towards my sister, and as he got closer, he got happier and was laughing at her, and she just happened to snap these, and they're really cute. Again, I've got some hidden journaling. Just because the layout was so busy as it was, I didn't think I could manage to fit journaling on the layout. And I used some of this puffy stickers. That always makes me happy when I use supplies. The last bit of tissue paper I owned. And then I drew on my layout, and this was so scary because I had completed my layout and then I drew. And normally I don't do that because what if I mess up and ruin the entire layout? But I didn't, and I love it, and it was the perfect finishing touch there. I was on for the Crafty Maven Getaway channel for one episode this month, and that episode was a Free Flow Wednesday. And so we got to use a really fun and bright mood board that is not something I would normally lean towards, but I picked out all of the colors and created this layout with it. So there's a process video over on the Crafty Maven Getaway for September the 23rd if you want to check that out, and it's really fun. It is based about a day that I went across the ferry with my little guy, and we went and visited my sister and my niece and my 2 nephews who were playing their very first football game. So, and ever, it was their first game ever. So it was really fun. It was a fun day. It was fast paced. We had to do lots of things, and then I had to get right back on the ferry with my little guy and go home all in the same day. As to the title, so much fun, so little time. This next one is for the other episode of Lifted that we did, and this was based off of a Shamel Lane layout she had done a few years ago. I think she did it in 2013. Her layout was the one where she was in dance class and she had done a video and snapped a still shot and had lots of journaling and a title and everything like that. It was a really cute layout, and I tried so hard to do it more like as a scrap lift than how it turned out, but instead it turned into this, and this layout is again one of my favorites, almost just because of the story. And it's simply talking about why I scrapbook. And if you're interested in knowing what all the journaling says, you can actually check out this process video, and at the very end, so you can just go to the last 3 minutes or so, I actually will read out all of this journaling, so you can check that out if you'd like to. And finally, my last layout of the month is this one right here, which is my second episode with Rachel for our Scrap It series that we're doing. And it is my pick I got to pick the sketch, and I very much followed the sketch almost to a T. And I really love it, and I'm loving it more and more as I look at it. But it's documenting Mother's Day through Jackson's perspective. So like this is going in Jackson's album. I have a couple more photos from that day that I'm going to scrap and put in our family album, talking about how I felt, because he was a very sick little boy during Mother's Day, so we actually didn't get to do much. I was totally okay with that. I am way more about being a mom and taking care of my little guy than having to do something for me. So, but I want to document that as well. But this one was more just talking about you weren't feeling well, and so we basically spent the whole weekend on the couch, and I just got to be your mom and take care of you, and that's what it's talking about. And I love this little pop of teal here, and again, this was just based off of a sketch, so that will be also a process video, so you can look out for that too. We've now done 2 of these, and the next video coming up after this, you're going to see my 3-part series of the products I'm going to incorporate into my October using up my stash in the no buy that I'm doing with everyone else through the Victoria Marie Facebook group. And then on Wednesday, is it the 30th or the 31st? Whatever day that is, Caddy and I are starting a new series called Obsessed. So stay tuned for that, because it's very, very exciting. I'm super excited to work with her. She is the sweetest gal as well. She's so cute and adorable, and she's from Florida, and we are similar in age, which makes things a little bit fun because we kind of probably have some of the same ideas about some things, and I'm excited to share that series with you. So keep a lookout for that. It will be posted on Wednesday the 30th or 31st. I can't remember how many days are in September. So thanks everyone so much for watching. I'll be back soon. Bye!